If you live and vote in Virginia, listen up. Your vote in the 2028 presidential election might not count. In this video, I'll tell you how Democrats just changed the rules for Virginia voters, because when the Democrats can't win, they change the rules. I'm Terry Christoph. This is Smart Girl Politics. Welcome back, everybody. It's story time here at Smart Girl Politics. It's a true story. It's about you. It's about me. And we're doing a time jump. We're getting into our time machine and we're zooming into the future to 2028. There's a presidential election going on and our votes might not count. Before we dive in, if you like what you're seeing here at Smart Girl Politics, give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a comment, do all of those things. That would be fabulous. Our community is growing. It's really exciting. I am thrilled to be part of it. Most happy that you're here. So, hey, make it official. Subscribe. Let's get into a committed relationship here, okay? Okay, anyway, let's dive in. All right. Picture this. Year is 2028. And we're just going to say, for argument's sake, J.D. Vance is the nominee for the Republicans for the presidential ticket. I don't know who the vice president is. I haven't figured that part out. But let's just go with J.D. Vance. And maybe you like him. Maybe you like what you've seen. He's getting a lot of experience on the international stage, which is important. He often speaks for the president in very important domestic matters. He's a great candidate. You like him. You like his family. He's cute. Usha Vance is amazing. She'd make a great first lady. You're convinced this is your guy. Now, let's see on the other end of the spectrum, we have Gavin Newsom, who we like to call Sparkle Beach Ken. Yes, the Democrats have gone that crazy that they've got Gavin Newsom as their candidate. We've got Sparkle Beach Ken. So we've got J.D. Vance on one hand, and we've got Gavin Newsom on the other hand. So we are heading to the polls. And let's say you go. Maybe you vote early, but maybe you go like me on the day of. Go in. You happily cast your vote for J.D. Vance. You are so excited. This is great. You can't wait to see what he can do as president, and you're really happy to vote against Gavin Newsom. You go home. A little later, you're like, I'm going to start looking at some returns. Lo and behold, J.D. Vance wins Virginia. Something happens in the last because we're in 2028, something had happened in the 3 years prior to make people in Virginia wake up, enough people anyway, to vote for J.D. Vance. So this is amazing. Virginia's getting back on track. All of our electoral votes are going to go to J.D. Vance. We're going to be part of this national effort to get him elected. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, not so fast. Oh, you know what? I want to say as a side note, speaking of watching returns on election nights, if you ever need a pick-me-up, the greatest thing on YouTube, and if I can remember, I'll put some links into some of the best ones, go back to either election night 2024 or election night 2016 and watch the media deflate as the evening goes on. Their reactions are priceless as they realize that Donald Trump's going to win the election. It is literally the best entertainment out there. Okay, we're back to election day. Virginia's voted for J.D. Vance. But you're saying, wait a second, he might not get my vote even though I voted for him? Yes. Even though J.D. Vance won in our state, hypothetically, and got our electoral votes and got, in fact, the number of electoral votes needed to win the presidency, Gavin Newsom won the popular vote. We've seen this happen several times where the person who wins the popular vote doesn't win the electoral college votes. That's how our system is set up. We'll talk about that in a minute. If Abigail Spanberger and her fellow Democrats get their way, someone like Newsom would get all of Virginia's electoral votes, even if they didn't vote for him, even if all of them should be going to J.D. Vance. Your vote would mean nothing at all. And that's because of a law Spanberger signed this week. We're gonna take a look at that law. It's not a good one. Yeah, we're not talking about guns today. We're taking a break from what the bad thing she's doing with guns, and we're talking about your vote. And it's very deeply concerning. So I'm going to share my screen so we can take a look at this. Oh, and we get a little bit of Abby in action. I'm going to freeze it because I can't stand her, but there she goes. She's signing so many horrible laws. Okay, so this one is called HB 965, National Popular Vote Compact. This enters Virginia into an interstate compact known as the Agreement among the states to elect the president by national popular vote. Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States gives the states exclusive and plenary authority to decide the manner of awarding their electoral votes. Virginia agrees. No, Virginia doesn't agree. Democrats in Virginia think this is good. They agree to, I didn't agree to this, to award its electoral votes to the presidential ticket that receives the most popular votes in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. So just to quickly go back to our example, Virginia, you vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. He doesn't win the popular vote. So all the electoral votes, at least in the states in this compact, will go to the popular vote winner, Gavin Newsom. Your vote, null and void. Yeah, they changed the game. They changed the rules. Let's learn a little bit more about what this does. And it's not something you're hearing a lot about. Not a lot is being talked about this one. Virginia will join an interstate compact aimed at awarding the presidency to the winner of the national popular vote after Governor Abigail Spanberger signed House Bill 965 into law. And that just happened a few days ago. Supporters of the measure point to Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, which gives states broad authority to decide how their electoral votes are awarded once the compact takes effect. And it's not taken effect yet, and we'll get into that in a minute. Virginia's presidential electors would be certified in association with the national winner, regardless of the outcome within the Commonwealth. So your vote means nothing. Now, it won't take effect immediately in practice. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact only becomes operative once participating states collectively control at least 270 electoral votes, enough to secure the presidency. So, now that Virginia's part of the gang, what's the situation with this compact that nobody's ever heard about? And there's a reason. Democrats don't want you to know that this has been going on. So here we hop on over to the page. As of April 13th, thanks to Abigail Spanberger, 2026, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact has been enacted into law in 19 jurisdictions, possessing 222 votes. Now remember, they need 270. They're getting dangerously close. 6 small jurisdictions, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, and the District of Columbia. 10 medium-sized states, Colorado, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Virginia, and Washington, and 3 big states, California, Illinois, and New York. These 19 jurisdictions are shown in green on the map. Below on the map, each square represents 1 electoral vote out of 538. Virginia has 13. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact will take effect when enacted into law by states possessing 270 electoral votes. Now, what do we notice about these states? Delaware, Maine, Rhode Island, hard left, blue states. And unfortunately, my fellow Virginians, I think we're one of them, well and truly. Maybe not forever, but for the time being. So if you look at the map, you will see coasts, those little itty-bitty parts in the middle of the country, they're going crazy. They're getting real close. They're getting really close. So remember when I said a little bit earlier, when Democrats can't win, they change the rules? Let's hear from one of them. Hold please while I share my screen.
First of all, the Electoral College now has resulted in 5 different presidents being elected who did not win the popular vote. I think most Americans and most Virginians think they live in a democracy. But when it comes to the president, they actually don't. They live in a plutocracy, because the founders chose to put this electoral college system in between the voters and the election of a president. And I want to remind everybody, partly what motivated that at the time, not only was it a distrust of voters, not only was it a distrust of the masses, and by the way, I would just note that at the time the electoral college got put in place, most of the people sitting in this chamber probably wouldn't even be able to vote.
That's enough of that guy. That's Scott Sorovell. He's one of the new bad guys coming out of Virginia, so keep your eye on him. Nothing good happening there. But what he's telling you is it's the founding fathers. They're the bad guys in all of this. The form of government that they set up for America is distasteful to the 21st century Democrat Party. I don't know about you, but I can't believe the kind of nonsense, the crap that's coming out of Richmond. Very historic place, Richmond, Virginia. Virginia, a very historic place. Now, the question on everybody's mind, is this even legal? It depends on who you ask. There are those who are for it. Supporters of it say a Republican in California and a Democrat in Texas should matter just as much as a voter in a swing state. Except for that's not what it does. What it does is it penalizes rural voters and those outside areas like where I am, Northern Virginia, full of wackadoos, liberal wackadoos, Richmond, full of liberal wackadoos. It rewards the big cities and the coastal elites. This is not what the founding fathers, they were trying to lessen the impact that population centers would have so that it was more equal. Stripping me of my vote, making my vote null and void, certainly was not what the founding fathers had in mind. You know what I find really distasteful, besides the Democrat Party as a whole? That in the year that we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country, a country that's been pretty great to a lot of us, and especially the elites that make up the political parties. For instance, Senator Scott Surrevell, who has nothing but disdain for the founding fathers. It's been nothing but good to him. Look at that man. He's the pinnacle of success. But in this year, where we celebrate 250 years of being a country where people we're not perfect, but we can try to be perfect more than anybody else. Virginia Democrats are taking aim at you and your vote. They think they know better than you do how your vote should go. What you go in and do in the polling place, not good enough. Abigail Spanberger is going to decide. Louise Lucas is going to decide. They're going to decide for you where your vote goes. Don't let them get away with it. What can you do? Number one, pay attention. This is one that's kind of flown under the radar because they made such a, hey, look over here while I'm stealing your guns. I'm also taking your vote. So while you look that way, over here I am taking your vote away from you. So pay attention. I will keep on top of all these things as much as possible. So that's why you've got to hit that subscribe button. Smash it, as the kids like to say. Smash that subscribe button. You need to tell your family, your friends, and your neighbors about what's going on because they might not have heard. CBS News isn't going to tell them. Fox News might. MS, whatever it's called, they're not going to. They're likely not going to know this is happening. And because it hasn't gone into effect yet, because they don't have the 270 votes that they need, it's not going to get a lot of attention, but they're dangerously close. Vote. That is the most important thing. If you have not voted in the referendum on the gerrymandering being done by the Democrats, get out there and vote. Tuesday, April 21st is the deadline for that. Bring people to vote. You vote, bring everybody you know to vote. You help educate them. If they don't know about some of the things that the Democrats are doing, you bring them there. You get them to vote. You help them get there. I like to vote in person, but I know for some people they need to get the absentee ballot or whatever they need to do. Help them to vote and be educated. The final thing we can do is pray. Our Commonwealth needs it right now because when we see what they're doing, I've only scratched the surface. I've only done a few videos so far on what they've done. A lot of it centered on guns. And of course, now they're trying to strip the Republicans of their congressional seats. It's not good. None of this is good. So we need to pray. Let me know in the comments what's going on in your part of Virginia. I'm always fascinated what's going on in other parts of the Commonwealth where sanity seems to thrive a little bit more than it does up here in Northern Virginia. Drop me a comment. Let me know how things are going in your part of the Commonwealth, what you think. Have you heard about this thing that Abigail Spanberger's done with the compact where your vote is going to go? We got a lot to cover here, and I'm going to keep on these stories for you. Again, I'm so happy that you're here. Smash that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let other people know. Tell me what needs to be talked about that we're not talking about because it's a fire hose of bad things happening here right now. So help me keep up with it. Tell me what needs to be covered. I'm so thrilled to have this community growing. This is going to be a great thing, a way to stay informed so that this stuff stops happening. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. I am Terry Christoph. This is Smart Girl Politics. I will see you next time. Take care. Be safe.